Hello everyone. This video we're going to work on a lab activity that will allow us to kind of simulate a registration and login system for a very basic PHP application. This is not connected to a database yet. This is very beginning PHP where we're going to work with a form. We're going to have the form collect some data, and then we're going to output that data using PHP on a processing page or handling page. Okay, so the very first thing that we've got some starting files here. This first page, it's called index.php, but you'll notice there's no PHP anywhere in the file. So you can do that. You can call something PHP even if there isn't any PHP in it. As this application develops, we will likely have some PHP in every single page. So we'll just call it index.php for now. If you take a look at this page, what we have is a form, and that is a form tag in HTML. And there are two very important things to put in that form tag. The first attribute is called action, and that basically is saying, after we click submit, where do we send the data that is input into this form? And typically that's going to be another PHP page. In some cases, it might be the same PHP page, like the page calls itself. But to keep things as simple as possible, since this is a beginning PHP activity, we're just going to call a new PHP form. And the next most important thing is to have a method. So there are two methods that we use. One is called post and one is called get. Post is the more secure way of sending data because that will be sent through kind of like the background of a HTML page, and get will send the variables through the actual URL using a question mark to put all the variables on here. So in this case, we have three inputs: first name, last name, and email. So your URL would pass something that says question mark, first name equals whatever the user put in, and ampersand, last name equals, and email equals. And obviously you don't want to be sending people's data through a URL like that. Okay, so let's just go ahead and run this page and see what we get in our window. We stop this and run. All right, so nothing fancy here. I don't even have CSS really to do anything. You'll see my three labels. These are called labels. And then our three inputs. And these are just basic text inputs with the exception of email. I'm using a special HTML5 type. And basically what that does is it just has some very small validation to see if it has a @ symbol and like a dot in it. But this validation is not going to check if this is a valid email address, and it hardly comes close to checking the actual format. All right, so if I was to just click submit right now without putting anything in it, you're going to get a little warning for the first field that says, please fill out this form. So I'm going to use Peter Parker since I just saw Spider-Man this week. That was really great. So if I put Peter in here and click submit, again, I'm going to get stopped with that, please fill out this field. Now again, I've already told you there's no PHP in this form. So what's happening here is that every single one of my inputs has an attribute that I've placed in here called required. And again, this is some HTML5, very simple validation. And its only purpose is to check to make sure that somebody actually put something in that field. It doesn't have like a length requirement or anything like that. It's really easy to bypass, but for the purpose of testing, this will work until we can get some validation using either PHP or JavaScript. All right, so I'm going to put Peter Parker and then just show you how this email works. If I just put in Peter, it's going to come back and say, let me try again, please include an ampersand. So let's say I do spidey@marvel.com. Okay, so now I have something in every single field. I have the ampersand in there, the @ symbol in there, and I have my fake email address in a suitable format. So as soon as I click submit, it's going to send all this data to the process register.php page. So what we have here, let's pull that page up. This is a very simple PHP page that just has a couple lines in it. So first we're echoing out this H1 tag, which is why this is super large. So that's just text we've put in. And then what you'll see here is that I am taking the data. Remember, I've got 3 fields here in my index. The first one is called first name, the second one is called last name, and the third is called email. So when I'm doing my process page, I am grabbing the post, because remember we're using post. I'm grabbing a special PHP server variable called post that has the name of the form input in it. And then what I'm doing is I'm storing the data to a PHP variable called first name, and then I'm just outputting hello first name. So the first thing that I want to do for this is I want to duplicate this for my last name and my email address. So I would love it if you would push pause and make some edits. Remember, if you haven't already, you need to fork this page using the link that I have provided. It's a REPL link. You just need to log in with your own REPL account, click the fork button, and this will copy all these files over to your account so that you can then begin editing them. So if you could pause the video and try to get those other 2 values, last name and email, saved as a PHP variable, and then also output in your echo statement. Then come back and push play and I will show you how I did it. Okay, so hopefully you have figured that out. I'll show you how I'm going to do mine. So mine, I'm just going to use the same format that I did here for first name. Don't forget those semicolons. And then I'm going to do the same thing with email. And again, don't forget that semicolon. Okay, so now I'm going to say hello first name. Because I'm using double quotations, I can actually specify that PHP variable without having to concatenate things. So let's go ahead and see if this works. Last name, hello first name, last name. Your email is registered as email. All right, well, let's see if this works. So first things first, I have to click stop. And then I have to go back to my index page because REPL requires you to have an index.php page as your starting page for all of your files. All right, so here I'm going to go ahead and put in Peter Parker again, Spidey@marvel.com, and click submit. And now it says, hello, Peter Parker. Your email is registered as Spidey@marvel.com. Now, if you had any problems with that outputting properly, it could be because you're using a single quotation. So let me just show you what this looks like. If I have a single quotation in here, I'm going to go back to my page. You get lots of practice with form inputs when you're developing web applications. All right, so if I do it this way, look what I get. I'm not getting that. Those PHP variables are not coming through as being interpreted. And that is the difference between a single quote and a double quote. I could technically do this, but it would look really ugly, and it's going to look something like hello dot first name. Then I have to, the dot is a concatenation, and then a space, and then another dot, and then another dot, another single quote, and then down here You see how ugly this really is, right? This is so easy to mess up those little dots. So your choice. Which would you rather use? The double quotes or the single quotes? So let's try this again now. And here we go. Once again, filling out that form. Oh, so hello, Peter Parker. I need to put a space in there. Your email's registered, blah, blah, blah. And that /n is not coming across. So I just need to put a space there. And there we go. So I'll run it one more time. And those are your two options. All right, so looks better. I'm happy with that. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to simulate a login form and process that login. Now again, we don't have anything here that is connected to a database, so we're just going to hard code in a special login password for the moment, but we're basically going to follow the same process that we did for the index page. And I am literally just going to copy and paste this. Control C will copy, Control V will paste, and I'm going to change my title around a little bit. Log into my cool website. I'm going to change my form action to process login, still keeping it as post. Now, what two items do we need for login? We need our email address. So there we go. And because it's a form, I like to indent my my nested HTML variables, and then I need a password. So I'm going to go ahead and put password and input type. So this is going to be another special input type, and it's going to be input type of password. See all the different options we have here. And name, I'll just call it password, and this one is definitely going to be required as well. Okay, so if I go to run this, now here's the thing, because like I told you, REPL requires everything to start from our index page. We're going to have to link to our login page from our index page, which makes sense because typically we're going to have like a register or a login option. So my cool website, and then I'm going to just put a little paragraph here that says register or sign in. Okay, so my sign in is going to link to ahref equals login.php. Remember, this is a hyperlink, an A tag or anchor tag. So it's going to look something like this. ahref equals login. That's the name of the page we're going to. And then everything in between the A tags is going to show up. And then I've got my closing A, which will close the link, and then my closing paragraph. So let me run this again. So now I click sign in, and I should have the same thing here. I'm going to copy the same exact paragraph and put it inside my login, but I'm going to do the opposite thing. I'm going to put the A tag around register and close it. And then I'm going to link this to my index.php page. And here we go. So this is my register or sign in, and then I can go back from my sign in to my register, whichever the case is. All right, so here's my sign in. If I try to sign in without any information, it's going to prevent me from doing that. Before I put any information in here, and I click submit, there's nothing here in process login. There's absolutely nothing. So I need to do this first. So again, I'm going to go to my process register. I'm going to copy and paste, Control C. Try to copy and paste as much as you can. And then I'm going to do the same exact thing here, right? So I already have my email is there. That hasn't changed. And then I'm going to say my password. Same exact thing here. Post password. And then I'm going to basically check to see if my password matches whatever I want it to match. Okay, so in the real world here, we would check that their email and their password match an email password combination in a database. So I'm gonna create something that says, well, I'll just hard code this. So if password equals, okay, so that's what you use, double equal sign if you're comparing it with something. So I'm just gonna put in 1 2 3 4 5. That's what I like to use for my passwords. So if password equals 1 2 3 4 5, you can have this be whatever you want. Then we're going to echo a congrats. You are logged in. Okay, nothing too exciting here. And don't forget your semicolon. Okay, so maybe I have something where they actually have to confirm the email address too. So if email equals, oops, I forgot my parentheses. If email equals, let's just call it like admin@admin.com. And password equals 1 2 3 4 5. Say congrats, you're logged in. All right, so that works. And then we can have, let me make this a little wider for you so you can see it. So there's our if, and then we can say else. So if that isn't true, then we can say, sorry, bad email or password. Well, let's not say bad. Let's use an incorrect email or password. And close that paragraph. Okay, let's see if I did this right. So again, I've got to start back at my index page. I know it's kind of a pain to do that. I'm going to go to sign in. I'm going to put something wrong in first. Spidey@marvel.com, and then I'm going to do 1 2 3 4 5 just to see what happens. Oh, and I have an unexpected, okay, it does not like my and sign. One moment, please. Okay, I had a little syntax error in here on my login. My login page works fine, my process login. So I've got my if email equals admin@admin.com in double quotations and 2 ampersands. Password equals 1 2 3 4 5. And then I've got my echo congrats, you're logged in. I have my else, but I had an extra double quotation in here. So just make sure that your echo starts and ends with a double quotation, and that you don't have multiple double quotations like I did. I'm going to also include a try again link down here so I don't have to go back to my index page. So I'm going to go back to login.php, and I'm going to put those as a single quote so that I don't have to close out. If I'm using my double quotes on the outside, I can use single quotes on the inside, and then that will just interpret that as HTML code. All right, so let me stop this and run it one more time. Just run it from the index page, go to sign in, and I'm going to do my fake one. So Spidey@marvel.com, and I'm going to put my password as password. So both of these should end up breaking. and incorrect password, try again. So now I believe it was admin and admin.com, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This one should work, and there we go. Congrats, you are logged in. Okay, so that is our simple, very, very simple registration, very, very simple login, and play around with these, add some more form inputs, and put a little bit of style in here, kind of wrap it around a theme. That's what I always like to do, because we'll continue to build upon this login process as we go on with our PHP. Okay, great. Thank you.